With the first gold fund in the United States. And so store of value investing is in our DNA. And I said, oh man, what's this Bitcoin thing? And I knew about it, and I said, well, you got to do the deep dive. So I listened to the podcasts, read the white paper, and I said, no, this is going to be an accompaniment of gold. And, when I try to talk to people who are so doubtful about Bitcoin, I said, listen, that was in 2017, it was $3,000 a Bitcoin. It's up 10x from now. It's just, why are you surprised? Remember China? Large parts of China were completely undeveloped and unindustrialized 30 years ago, but things change, right? And so I think Bitcoin is the obvious asset that is growing up in front of our eyes.
I guess the two, and I watch it and I concede that it actually has behaved remarkably like gold and some kind of store of value. Proxy, I can't quite put my finger on why, but you do think, well, there could always be some new thing that comes along. Bitcoin itself was innovative. There could be some new version of this down the road that takes people's interest. And number two, the Jamie Dimon critique that there's so much nefarious stuff associated with it that there's still a regulatory risk that, stymies it.
There's a lot of political risk around it, absolutely. But what I say as far as something else coming along, there's 50 million users of Bitcoin, so it's got network effects. I think it's impossible for me to imagine some other, what I call it, internet store of value that's going to get leapfrog Bitcoin. So that's number one. As far as the criminality and all that kind of stuff, listen, I don't throw the first stone if you're associated with the bank or any financial institution that's never been involved with criminals in one shape or another. I'll leave it at that.
Let me steer it back to safer territory. How about this? For 2024 in particular, and some have been scratching their head a little bit at the behavior of Bitcoin and gold because they're saying, are they trading off the real rates? What is it that they are trading off of, and what tells you that you think if this is your gut, that Bitcoin itself will outperform?
Well, it's the macro, right? So you just the stores of value that don't generate interest, which is why the investors like Warren Buffett don't like them at all. But they behave really in relation to interest rates, like you said. That's the big cycle, and interest rates are headed down, directionally speaking. So the macro behind Bitcoin and gold are very strong. By the way, they kind of do perform similarly. They both peaked in 2021. They've both been rallying this year. Obviously, Bitcoin way more than